Welcome, everyone. So nice to see you here. I know you've already had some, I'm admitting people in. I know you've already had some sessions behind you, so I hope you've enjoyed the sessions that you're in. Today, I would have the pleasure of introducing Jeff Perkins. The title of his presentation is Increasing Contactless Parking Payment Options and Adoption. And he is the CMO and head of product for ParkMobile. But I also just wanted to, before I hand this over to Jeff to start, I just wanted to remind you to keep yourself on mute. We are recording this session, and if you have any questions for Jeff at the end, please type them in chat, and then we'll get to them at the end of his presentation. So with that, Jeff, I hand it over to you.
Thanks, Kathleen. Hey, everybody. It's good to see you, at least virtually. Sorry we couldn't be together in person. I always enjoy the various IPMI events that go on throughout the year. But of course, COVID has kind of thrown a wrench into a lot of our in-person learning, and it's made it all virtual. So we will make the best of it. Just so you know, I am working from home like all of the ParkMobile employees are. Some of you are probably working from home as well. So occasionally you are either going to hear my lawn guys who are here. You may hear my dogs barking in the background. So apologies for the background noise, but we will just try to power through it. And during COVID, people did some interesting things, and because we were home all the time, we're like, all right, what should we do? And is there something we can do to help people or help organizations? So one thing that we did during COVID is we started fostering puppies. And so I'll just show you a little bit. So these are the puppies we're fostering now. And the reason I show this to you, because there's almost 100 people on here. These puppies have been in my house for about a month. They are all super cute. And they really need to be adopted. So if you could please, if anyone's interested in adopting a puppy, I have 4 of them. And I'm anxiously waiting for them to get adopted. They're a little too young to be adopted right now, but they'll be, I think, ready for adoption in about another 2 weeks or so. I do not know what mix they are. They're, I guess, 100% rescue mutt, but they are really cute, and they are giving my wife and I a run for our money with with all the cleaning up after them. So think about adopting, and if you are interested in these puppies specifically, give me a call. So today we are here to talk about my favorite topic, which is contactless parking, or contactless parking payments. And COVID has been kind of a tale of two companies for ParkMobile. On one side of our business, and probably a lot of parking providers here, our business really went down during COVID. I mean, you had those months in March, April, May, where we saw transaction volume just kind of bottom out as people were not going out, cities were locking down, and then slowly in that kind of June timeframe, it started to come back. But as it came back, we saw this real increased demand for contactless options, because people didn't necessarily want to handle cash. They didn't want to hand cash to an attendant. They didn't want to touch physical hardware. They rather just do everything on their phone. And so we did some research with our users, and we just saw this dramatic increase in the way people expect to pay for really everything going forward. And they said they really want more contactless options. And so that kind of sets the stage. I'm going to start with some polls to ask you that are on this call. I'm going to launch the first poll now. Do you offer, or are you interested in offering, more app choices or more contactless choices for parking payments in your city? So we currently offer multiple apps. We currently have one app, but would like to offer more. We're fine with one app. We currently do not offer a mobile app. So take a minute, and I'm seeing the questions coming in real time, which is super cool. And I'll give it another few seconds, and then I will end the poll and show you the results. Okay. All right, let's end it there. Okay, and I'm going to share the results with you. Okay, so A pretty widespread, the majority, but not by much, said you have one app, you're fine with one app. A smaller group said we have multiple apps. Some said we have one app, but would like to have multiple apps. And then a couple said we don't have a mobile app right now. So pretty interesting results there. Let's take one more poll, and then we'll get to the core content of the presentation. Okay, so for the second poll, I'm going to launch it now. Let's go to poll number 2, launch poll. Okay, why do you not offer more choices currently? So why don't you offer more contactless choices at your location? It's difficult to manage rates and policies in multiple apps. It's confusing for the consumer. Maybe it just hasn't been a priority for you. There's challenges related to financial reconciliation across multiple contactless payment options. So take another few seconds and let us know why you currently don't offer more contactless choice. Okay. I think we have a pretty good sample here. So I'm going to end the poll and share the results out. Okay, so again, kind of a spread here, right? There's a bunch of other, so I'm not sure what the other is. But difficult to manage rates and policies, possible confusion. Maybe it's just not a priority. Some said the challenges around financial reconciliation. So those are all some of the reasons why the people are on this webinar are not offering more choices, even though I think the majority said they would like to, or they are already offering more choices. So interesting data there. Obviously with contactless is great. I assume probably most of us here have paid with a contactless option for parking or for other things. But there's always some challenges when it comes to contactless in a city environment, especially, or a university. There are always going to be that small subset that don't have smartphones. You may have some people that do not have credit cards. So you have to kind of keep that cash option out there. We see a lot of people who complain that, hey, I don't want to download a whole app just to pay for parking. I rather use the meter. And then if you're in a city that has a lot of visitors from other countries, or in pre-COVID, some of you were in cities that had a lot of visitors from other countries. Oftentimes foreign visitors, when they're coming to the US, they can't download apps from the US App Store. So they're not actually able to use the app in the United States. So there are some challenges, which is why we all can't just go mobile only and just use the app. We have to have options for the people in our communities, for our residents, for our visitors. So the way ParkMobile generally looks at the world is through, we've defined what we call personas. And we have basically 4 key personas that we think about when we're developing our products and solutions for consumers. And this is I think a pretty standard way to look at the kinds of people who are out there who are parking in locations across the country. Risky Randy. So this is the dude who he just never plans ahead. He's always just driving into the city. He finds parking by circling the block. He's just not a planner. You have Planning Paula. Planning Paula is the person who doesn't leave home without knowing where she's going to park. So she reserves her parking, and then she uses Google Maps or Waze to navigate to that parking garage. But it's all about planning her journey to wherever she's going. Then you have Savvy Sam. Savvy Sam is, he's all about technology. He's never going to use cash again. He's only about contactless and using contactless payments. And then you have Novice Nancy, and she is the person who doesn't park that often. And she's the person maybe who is also a little bit more inexperienced with technology. Now, to be honest, we spend a lot of time at ParkMobile focusing on Risky Randy, Planning Paula, and Savvy Sam. Sometimes we forget about the Novice Nancy, but I want to just show you a quick video to demonstrate kind of like how all these personas play out in real life. Now, the video I'm going to show you, we filmed this actually before COVID, like right before COVID, we finished this. So there's some things in here you're like, well, that doesn't look COVID safe, but just indulge us, because I think this really illustrates how different people like to park in different ways.
There's one! Score!
No coins.
No problem. Where are you guys? We just parked.
Just pulled into the lot on 18. Be there soon.
Perfect. Meet us at the entrance.
Not waiting in that line.
No, we're not. Excuse us.
Excuse me.
Hey, you close?
Yeah, we have reservations in the garage on 15th.
Oh, of course you do.
We'll see you in a minute.
Street, lot, or garage, ParkMobile is there for every parking persona. ParkMobile gives you more ways to park than any other app, available in over 400 cities across the country. Anywhere you want to park, any way you want to park, ParkMobile has you covered.
Now that brings us back to pre-COVID times when we used to go to concerts. We used to be able to hug our friends when we saw them without a mask on. But really the purpose of the video, it really brings home, the three personas that I was talking about: Randy, Paula, and Sam, right? But we left out Novice Nancy. And to be honest, I think the industry has kind of left Novice Nancy behind, and we don't necessarily cater. We basically, if you're Novice Nancy, you have to use the meter or you have to pay an attendant. So Novice Nancy, what do we know about her? She's less tech savvy. She probably doesn't park that often. If she's happens to be in a place where she has to pay for parking, she doesn't really want to download an app and go through a whole setup process just to pay to park. It's probably easier just to put money in a meter. She definitely doesn't want to create an account because she's not parking that often. And she just wants it to be quick and easy, and really doesn't want to have a lot of friction in the process. But with COVID, Novice Nancy really has realized that contactless is a better option for her. But up until now, we've really been giving Nancy this kind of binary choice. It's meter or one app. And I think the data kind of played that out. It's you pay at the meter, pay at one app, or pay an attendant, or pay via app. So a very binary choice. And one thing that we know from our consumer, doing a lot of research with consumers, is that consumers don't like being given binary choices in either or. Think about your own life. You want maximum choices, right? You want to have every payment method out there as an option. And I think the way we think the industry has evolved today is that we're waiting for consumers to come to us rather than meeting consumers where we are. So we're waiting for consumers to come to us rather than meeting consumers where they are. And that's an important difference. And so as we think about our product roadmap for our company, ParkMobile, and what we want to do, we want to start focusing much more on meeting consumers where they are. We know that not everyone is going to want to download a full-featured mobile app. In fact, we did some research on this. 62% of respondents to this research said it's important to have multiple options to pay for parking. 21% said it's even very important. So they want multiple contactless options out there. But oftentimes they're locked into one, right? They're locked into one contactless option. Now in Europe, and for some of you who have been to Europe, Europe is all about multi-vendor. Europe is all about multi-vendor. This is a meter in Paris. It kind of looks like one of those NASCARs because it's got all the parking app stickers on it. And this is one way to go. It's to say, hey, accept all these different types of apps in the city. Just accept them all. And that could be a good option for certain cities. That could really be a good option for certain cities. There are also some challenges in that. If you manage one app and it's a lot of work, if you add 3 more apps there, you're essentially tripling your work potentially, right? You think about the financial reconciliation of one app and one meter. Now you add 3 additional apps. There could be some challenges there. Now we have a platform that consolidates a lot of the rate management and payments and analytics, but it's still very challenging. And for certain parking operations that might be smaller, you just may not have the resource to manage all these different mobile apps in one place. And even for large operations, sometimes it's challenging to manage all the different app options, which is probably a reason why there aren't many cities in the US that are doing this multi-vendor like they are in Europe. We work with, I think, 450 different cities, and I think there's maybe 4 or 5 that we work with that are currently multi-vendor. So it's complex, and there are some challenges with it, which is why you haven't seen it really explode here like it has in Europe. But despite that, we believe that to increase the contactless adoption, which is what consumers want, it's really all about providing more choice for the consumer. And so that's one of our core strategies, is like, how do we give consumers much more choice in the apps they can use to pay for parking? So we're not locking them in to download a full-featured mobile app every time, because we know while we love our mobile app, there's a certain segment of consumers that they're just not going to want to do that. So how are we doing this at ParkMobile? And I'm going to share some of the things that we have going on to try to help expand choice for consumers. The first thing, we love our full-featured app for iOS and Android, but we just launched a new web app. And we're really excited about this web app because this gives people who don't want to download a full-featured mobile app easy-to-use web option on their mobile device. An easy-to-use web option on their mobile device. They go to ParkMobile.io, they enter in the zone number, and they can start a parking session. I'll show you this is just a quick demo of what it kind of looks like. But this was designed to be really the fastest, easiest way to pay for parking. It's lightweight, so it maybe doesn't have all the bells and whistles that you get in a full-featured mobile app. But when we're thinking about Novice Nancy, she doesn't necessarily want all of the bells and whistles that we would have in an Android or an iOS app. It's more important to her that it's quick and easy, and she doesn't have to download a mobile app. And we're very happy that this now gives Novice Nancy that option. And you can see in just basically a few seconds, you're able to go through a complete process, pay, and go about your day, and parking becomes very easy. Paying for parking becomes very easy for you. So very excited about our new web app. We think it's really it's a nice addition. And again, our strategy is around choice. And so now app and web. So we're expanding choice. But choice isn't just about giving people like the actual payment method. It's like, how do you access that payment method? So from our research, we found consumers love QR codes these days. You probably see QR codes popping up everywhere. If you're at a restaurant, restaurants have big QR codes on their menus now, so you don't have to handle actually a physical printed menu. You could pull it up on your phone. Text to park is becoming increasingly popular, where you text a number and you get a link that takes you into the parking flow. And then guest checkout. Guest checkout is really important to people. They don't always want to create an account, but they want to pay for parking in a contactless way, and having a guest checkout option is something they really want. So we are basically enabling this now. So this is some of our newest signage that we have for ParkMobile. And one thing you see is 3 ways to pay, right? 3 ways to pay. You could download the app, you could scan this QR code and go right to the website, or you can text to park. So you text a number, you get a link, and it takes you into our web flow. So you're able to quickly start a parking transaction. Again, when it comes to driving contactless adoption, these small things that giving consumers what they want is really going to help. It's really going to help increase adoption in your location. And then guest checkout. This is something I'm very excited about. I spend a lot of time reading our App Store reviews. And a very constant refrain is, I want a guest checkout option. And so we're a couple weeks away from launching this in our web app. But basically, you're going to be able to check out without having to create a ParkMobile account. Again, this is exactly what Novice Nancy wants, and this is why we're building it. She doesn't want to have her information stored by ParkMobile. She wants to just get through the a checkout without worrying about having to set up an account. So this is a really nice and easy way for her to pay for parking. She could just scan a QR code, use a guest checkout, and start her parking session. So really excited about this innovation that's coming out next month. But, so that's all with ParkMobile now. And so that's what we're doing in our app. But we said, not everyone is in kind of the ParkMobile world. And we recognize that. And we said, well, how else can we enable parking payments effectively and reduce friction in the process? But at the same time, be where the consumers are. Be where the consumers are. So we said, all right, where are the consumers? All right. So if you go into the navigation category of the App Store, you see number 1 is Google Maps and number 2 is Waze, and ParkMobile is number 3. So we said, well, what if we could do something with Google Maps to enable parking within Google Maps? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be something consumers would want? So you're navigating to a destination, you're using Google Maps to get there. Wouldn't it be great if you could just start a parking transaction right from Google Maps? So we partnered with our friends at Google, and we just launched, and they announced it last week, but this new feature where you start in Google Maps, and then it pushes you over to their Google Pay app, and then you can do a parking transaction right in Google Pay. And so again, expanding the options. So now all of ParkMobile's inventory that we use in our iOS Android app, that's in our web app, also lives in Google Pay. And so a user can go in there and they don't actually have to have a ParkMobile account. They just need a Google Pay account. And they can go and start a parking transaction. They have all the features and functionalities that they have with ParkMobile, but some people just prefer Google Pay because that's where they have all their credit cards. That's where they have, they keep all their financial records. And so we feel like this is a really, really great addition to our portfolio. So you have app, web, and Google Pay. So expanding options, that's at the end of the day, going to make the consumer much happier. The last thing I'm going to talk about are ways that we're looking to what I would call make the app stickier. So get people to use the app more often. One of the things that's tricky with parking apps sometimes is that I always talk to people and they say, who do you work for, Jeff? I say, I work for ParkMobile. And what's that? Oh, it's a parking app. And then they realize, oh, I actually have it on my phone. So sometimes because it's a utility, it's not something they're using that often except when they're parking. So they sometimes forget they actually have it. So we're working on ways to make the app much more stickier. So the first thing I'm going to show you is being able to visualize real-time parking availability within the app. So on the left, you see that's the Park Columbus app. We're working with our clients in the city of Columbus. They're actually giving us their availability data, and we're able to visualize it right on the app. So it's showing you if it's a green pin, that means that that spot's available. If it's a red pin, the spot is not available. And then on the right is an integration we have with CivicSmart, showing sensor data. So if it's a spot is open, you're going to see a green dot. If a spot is not open, you'll see a gray dot. And we feel like these are ways to get people into the app to look for available parking, maybe when they're not necessarily ready to park. So again, making the app stickier. And the last part is giving more use cases for the app. So today we just announced that you can now use ParkMobile to pay for tolls. So for cities and locations that are near major toll roads, this just gives people another way they can use their ParkMobile account. I'm going to show you a quick video on how this works.
Paying highway tolls can be a real pain. Either you get stuck in a long line at the toll booth, or you try to go through the express lane only to get a ticket in the mail 4 weeks later. If only there was a better way to pay tolls. Well, now there is, with an app you already have on your phone, ParkMobile. Now you can use ParkMobile to pay for tolls. That's right, the same app you use to pay for parking, you can now use to pay tolls. Sign up today at parkmobile.io/tolls. Once your account is activated, you can just drive through the express lanes. Cameras will scan your license plate and your ParkMobile account will be charged the right amount. You will get an email receipt with all the details. No more paying attendance. No more confusing transponder devices to attach to your car. No more tickets in the mail. Just drive through the tolls and ParkMobile will take care of the rest. Sign up today at parkmobile.io/tolls and discover a smarter way to pay for tolls. Paying highway.
So that's kind of fresh off the press. We just launched that today, but we think it's a really interesting way. And if you think about IPMI, so IPMI used to be called IPI, right? And then it became the mobility and parking. And we see a lot of opportunity beyond just parking and expanding into broader mobility services, which is going to make the app stickier, going to drive up contactless adoption in your location. So we're really excited to really try out this tolling. And you could go to ParkMobile.io tolls if you want to get more information and sign up for the beta. It's in about 11 states right now, and we'll be rolling out more soon. So, so that I want to have some time for Q&A, but I think we have, contactless option, contactless demand's very high right now. We believe that the key, if you're thinking about contactless in your market, is providing options. And if if there's anyone on this call that we work with, talk to us, because we could help you, market how you provide those options. Because right now, we know we have signage up, and we have new signs that we're rolling out, and we have different marketing tactics that we can help you with. So, so that's my time. I think I'm going to open up for some questions. Kathleen, how do we want to manage the questions now?
Well, I'm going to go in order with which they were written. So the first question goes first, but honestly, you, Jeff, have way more questions than we have time. So I put in chat for them to email you directly. So maybe you could put your email address in chat.
Yep.
So the first question is from Michael. How do you approach equity in terms of people who don't have smartphones or internet or do not have credit cards?
It's a great question. So we still offer a call-in IVR number, an 800 number that you can use that's posted on the signs. And so that helps for people who don't have a smartphone but have a regular phone. It's, and about 1% of our transaction volume, it still comes through that call-in number. So we know it's used in cities. The other thing that we do is we have PayPal offered within the app. And so people can use a debit card to load their PayPal account and then pay that way. And we also have a ParkMobile wallet that also accepts debit cards. So we do have options beyond the credit card within the app. And those are the ways that we are, focusing on, inclusion, because we know that not everyone is going to have a smartphone or a credit card to make a payment.
Thank you. The next question is, why has the European market been so successful offering multiple apps, but you say the US may not be?
I don't know that the US may not be successful. And we're seeing, we have a few clients that are doing it now. And the way the market has evolved in the US, though, it's really gone app and hardware in every market. And you're seeing some markets now actually going mobile only in certain sections with one app. But we'll see. I know a lot of our clients are talking about it and asking about it. Like I said, we think it's a good option. I mean, we're multi-vendor in a few markets, and those are great markets for us. And so, if you're interested in it, we can talk to you about it. And like I said, we have a platform where you could consolidate a lot of the rates and policies and get all consolidated reporting that tries to make it easier for you. But the truth is it's more complex. And, I think the European market, they've figured out some ways to manage the complexities in certain cities, but they also have issues there. We have our sister companies there. They have a lot of issues related to consumer confusion in these markets. So it's, I would just say there's not a one size fits all solution for every city, every location. You just have to kind of look at what the specific needs of your residents and visitors are and build the program that you think is the best one for them.
Okay. I think we have time for one more question, and it is, how do you handle duplicate lot numbers in different cities, geofencing and figuring it out?
How do we handle different lots in different cities?
Duplicate lot numbers in different cities.
Oh, I'm sorry. So duplicate lot numbers in different cities. So when you're in the app, if there's a duplicate zone number for a specific lot or even just a specific space, and you have location services turned off, it'll prompt you to ask you what city you're in, and you can't advance until you identify the city that you're in. So for people who really hate having location services turned on, that's the best option for them, is that they have to take one extra step. We always recommend, and we try to really market to our users that, hey, if you want to have the best experience in the app, you really want to have location services turned on, because it's a better experience overall. You'll be able to see the map view. You see where the zones are on the map. If you turn it off, you're not going to have all those benefits. But yeah, we have very little issue with people paying in one location and then getting charged in another location. It's almost non-existent. And if you want to talk more about it, I'm putting my email in the chat now. But yeah, it's rarely an issue, because we have duplicate zone numbers across cities in the US, and it's rarely an issue.
Okay. Well, with that, we are 1 minute over, but I wanted to thank everyone, and I wanted to thank you, Jeff. And again, if you have a question, because there were a number of questions that have not been answered today in the chat, please email Jeff directly. He'll be happy to answer your questions and continue the dialogue. For the rest of us, we have 2 sessions going on between 3:15 and 4:15. One is the hybrid workplace, what it means for parking technology, commute flexibility, and mode shift. And the other is Citizen to Hero, the power of data. We hope to see you in those sessions. And thank you again, everyone. Hope you're enjoying today. Thanks, Jeff. Bye-bye.